because it's like, we brought up how he got a shit ton of hate questions the moment this thing went up. And it's like, apparently, he got like 8 questions in a minimum of 24 hours.
Yeah, and guess how they respond? In a rather sophisticated fashion. No, just kidding. I'm expecting too much. They responded with a webcomic, and it was really ugh, and now they complained that they got too many comments, so they're gonna filter them out.
Oh, no, that's not just their only reaction. They made like 2 previous posts, but they removed it the minute, like, because again, honest reviews is little derp sense went off, and it's like, you know, people are calling out Kenshiw for what he's doing.
Oh, what? They actually are bothering to call him out? How dare they?
Yeah, they can't do that. That's against the Constitution.
That's against the Kenshiw Rules of Order. Also, I can do my characters however I want them, yo face.
The funny thing is, that's basically the excuse for his grammar and spelling. They're my characters, I can do whatever I want with them.
There's no relation. You can't... So, if you want your characters to be completely crap and your grammar and spelling to be atrocious, then you can just say it's the characters. Okay, fine. I guess when I write my novel that I'm writing right now, and I'm on chapter 6, I guess I'll just conveniently make all of my main character's language just dead, because it's my character, do what I want.
Hey, why is Hobbs spelled with a hashtag?
Because that's my character, I can do what I want.
Yeah, Hobbs-you.
Hobbs-woo. You can't say that!
Yeah, so anyway, the first one came from Tumblr defending Kenshiw from all the hate questions that he got, and this is basically her way of saying this, and definitely keep this in mind, because honestly, this is going to bite him in the ass so damn much, both of them actually.
Oh yeah.
Telma again. It seems a little some pony isn't so happy about the fanfiction. By the way, she spells isn't as I-S-N-T, no apostrophe.
Isn't.
So to prevent inbox spam, we're going to save the question for a later part and ignore him. Wait, how is that helping with spam? We'll just ignore this and we'll stop spamming.
Yeah, we'll just ignore it and then nothing happens at the end.
Oh, speaking of ignore, this is how she spelled it. Ingore.
Ingore! Ingore!
Like, Kenshiw, are you teaching your sister how to...
Man.
Are you teaching your sister how to splee? Because, in all seriousness, sending us 8 questions in a row, bashing on a pea ice...
Pea ice? Oh, so you're peeing on a piece of ice. That's fantastic. I mean, your name is Butt, you're peeing on ice. Man, you're a real woman. Ooh.
Yes.
I like that in a woman, you're peeing on ice.
Hey, I feel like a woman. Sending us 8 questions in a row, bashing on a piece of fiction is just immature. Now keep in mind, she's criticizing the haters of being immature for sending 8 hate questions in a row in the last 24 hours. Now, let's take a look at how Kenshiw decided to respond to the hate. Joke's on the hater. I already said in the text intro the fanfiction might be bad. Truth be told, we expected hate because all Tumblrs get hate, and I've had more dislikes than likes on the fanfiction on finfiction for the longest time.
Oh my god.
All Tumblrs get hate.
Yeah, all Tumblrs get hate.
Yeah, I mean, why would you think that when you're posting on a public forum that you're only going to get positive comments? That's like a pervasive problem that everyone has. Especially, even if Kenshiw says, I know it's bad. It's like, he still just doesn't want to recognize it, and he just ignores them and then rationalizes it by saying they're my characters, I can do what I want. So I don't know what he's trying to do. I don't know what his purpose is. I don't know what his reasoning is behind this.
I think I know his reason behind this. He's looking for an excuse. He's desperately looking for one.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, whether it's like saying, oh, I knew it was going to be bad, but he posts it anyway, or just throwing somebody under the bus just to make himself look good, it's just going to be one of those things where it's like, he just won't admit to anything. Like, and that, honestly, that's kind of a problem with a lot of people, because it's like, if you don't, like, if you say you know this thing's going to be bad, but not bother with anything with it, then why are you going to bother, you know, asking people for the type of criticism, yet you're not going to change at all with anything, and yet still defend the things you say is already bad.
I don't know, man. I think he's just desperate to appear right.
Exactly. Like, and that's why I see it so desperate, because it's like, you could just look at this, and it's like, my god, you will try way too hard.
Frickin', I can't deal with this. I can't.
See, Germa makes Hobbs laugh.
Just his name has "oo" in it, first of all.
Yes.
Secondly,
I remember bringing this up to Sir Raven before, where he says, you know, oh, all Tumblrs get disliked, and I believe you said not all of them do, just the bad ones.
Yeah, I know a lot of people on Tumblr and they never get hate. Like the only Tumblr blogs that get hate are usually the bad, really bad blogs. And hey, look at that! It's a blog run by Kenshiw. No wonder.
No, it's by Kenshiw.
by Kenshiw, right?
Excuse me, I need to blow my nose. Kenshiw.
By the way, just so you know, apparently I was sent more conversations with Kenshiw where he does the same spelling mistake. He misspells his own name twice.
How do you misspell your own name?
Because he doesn't care. It's his characters. He can do what he wants.
No, Hobbs, he doesn't anchor.
Nobody anchors. Nobody anchors. Not even him.
That being said, considering, you don't need to capitalize considering there, it's not the beginning of a sentence. That being said, considering the sheer buzz we are getting from doing this, let alone we had 8 answerable questions, counting Tumblr bots, see, he does have the bots on his side.
Yeah, his bots. He's gonna control the bots, like with Caden Tauger.
Yep.
Yay, good to know he's on that level.
Yep. In the first 24 hours of making this Tumblr, that the hate is going to be dealt with in a very silly fashion, and we are expecting more hate, but we really don't give two shits. Now here's my problem with this. You not only made a separate post to call out the hate that your Tumblr was getting, but you also basically decided to say, oh, we plan to do something very silly with the hate. So you're basically going to be doing 2 things to respond to the hate. So you literally did just give 2 shits.
Exactly.
He gave exactly 2 shits.
Yes, he gave exactly more than 2 shits. I think he gave 3 2/3 of a shit.
Well, I don't know if you would count Telma into it, unless it's something that Kenshiw basically told her to get into doing, like he persuaded her to do it.
I'm pretty sure he did. I'm pretty sure he also said don't listen to the trolls and haters, and being an impressionable sister, I'm pretty sure she said, okay, fine, gosh.
Yeah, which is funny because he goes, oh, just ignore and leave the trolls alone, yet here they are responding to them.
Ah, well, what are you gonna do? They're a bunch of contradictory people, and, well, what do you expect?
If you want to put hate up, expect us to use it for our own lulz.
What lulz? The lulz is going to involve you overreacting.
Oh, and that one comic that he basically that Hobbs basically mentioned earlier, he decides to take 8 of the hate questions that he got and put them into one picture, and he got his sister Tefna Elma to draw this picture of some tiny pony midget with the word void as a cutie mark with a bunch of aneurysm marks on his face, and Cosmic Spark is just looking at him going, oh look, it thinks it's pony.
He used it's wrong.
He also spells a lot of things wrong, like it's and there and like, come on, man.
Spells his name wrong, okay? And also, one thing I gotta say about the picture, what is it he's using telekinesis on? Like, what is that thing?
I don't know what it is.
It's like,
I don't know what it is.
I think it's a laptop.
It's a laptop? It doesn't really look at it defined.
Well,
like
here's
a
the
laptop.
thing. If that's a laptop, why the hell is the screen tilted down so goddamn much?
Yeah, it's like, how does he see it?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know, it's like, at first, when I looked at it, I'm like, why is he using telekinesis on a bending straw?
I don't know. Their drawings are drawn in a very UGG fashion, so what do you expect?
Yeah, like ponies with super long necks and elbows really short on the arms.
Yes, because it's totally realistic and anatomically correct.
Yeah, it's like, if you just look at the drawings that are just put out here, you could see, like, you could clearly see that this person isn't really all that diverse on horse anatomy.
I guess so.
Yeah. And honestly, it thinks it's pony. It's like, I looked at that, I'm like, oh my god, you are such a sweaty fucking tryhard.
Yeah,
I don't understand how that's supposed to be like an insult. Like, these...
It's like, so I'm not a pony? Okay.
Good.
It's like, okay, so I'm not a horse, a big fucking deal. Guess what? I'm also not a mongoose. I'm also not a caribou.
And I'm also not Kenshiw.
I'm also not Kenshiw either.
Which I think is, honestly, I think I take that as a compliment.
Like, oh, I'm not Kenshi? Okay, good. That means I have a potential in life.
And then there's this text down here that Kenshiw decides to write himself. This will be the one time we respond to hate comments. These are all the hate comments we got in under 48 hours. Okay, 48 hours, not 24. My bad.
Oopsies.
Yeah, don't care. It's still recent. So, and none of these are from when we posted the first actual post with images. After this, 99.99% of all hate comments will be ignored. The only ones that will slip by are anything that we don't deem as hate. So he's basically doing this under a communist rule. It's like, oh, you're gonna hate on the government? Well, get executed.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like it's a Stalin, as people would say in the forums. It's very Stalinist because he's just like, I'm going to find these comments, I'm going to screen them, and I'm going to pretend they don't exist. Also, they seem to have this very chronic problem of being unable to define words. So what would hate mean to them? Would hate mean using some criticism against them? Because if that's their version of hate, then look out. Your comment, however relevant and however constructive, will be deleted. Or will be used for their lols. Which is
honestly,
pretty stupid.
I think that is the case, considering earlier he has to defend the fact that, like, oh, I knew it was going to be bad, but I posted it anyway. Yeah, he still decides to defend it.
Oh my god.
Because he can make it better if he wants.
But then this is the one part that really confused me. Such as answerable thing. Don't you mean unanswerable?
Answerable.
Answerable.
Like, such as an answerable thing that can just be taken as a question, or hate that is either so hilariously bad or interestingly written. So you're still going to be responding to hate comments,
Even though you don't want to.
Yeah, and this is the one thing that this is the one part that also really confused me. We're going to take anything that we don't deem as hate, even if that was the intention. So, you're not going to take hate questions, but you're going to take questions even if they have the intention of hating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that totally is legit. It's totally not contradictory, and it means that this is the best Tumblr page ever.
It's like, it's such a fucking double negative. It's like, what are you trying to say here? So you're going to you're not going to respond to the hate by responding to things that seem like they're hate?
I don't know. What is their version of hate? Again, they're not willing to define that. So whatever is considered or perceived hate to them, they're going to delete. So it's really ambiguous.
Basically, one of the things that I do love the most about this is the fact that, like we said earlier, the person who drew the picture to this is Telma. Telma. The same person who earlier on, when we were reading this one post she made, who was criticizing and lecturing about maturity. And she's gonna go and pull this shit.
I don't know. I guess Kenshiw has gotten to her. And now she's become Kenshiw 2.0.
Kenshiw, is your entire family a bunch of hypocrites?
Ugh.
Like, seriously, how many people in your family have you brainwashed with your inconsistencies? And yeah, I've also read the conversations of how you completely bitch about how people are inconsistent in RP chats, when it's like, dude, you're in no position to talk about inconsistencies after the shit we read.
Yes, exactly. You're in no position to say your story is any good. If you're not willing to revise it, then that's your loss. Your stories can have way more improvement if you actually bother to listen to anybody.
Yeah, but the problem is, he's not going to. That's the usual kind of thing, because it's like I've seen the conversations, he moaned in bitches when people try to help him, and he's like, I don't need help. So it's like, so really, what is it that you want? So you could be as critically constructive with your criticism as you want. Oh shit, how long has it been since someone's used that word?
Oh god, here we go again.
But yeah, it's like someone could be as constructive as they wanted to. You would still deny because you don't need help. So really, there's no way to win with this guy. You just can't.
You can't win because it's catch-22 everywhere you go.
Which honestly is one of the reasons why I say, fuck being nice. I'm just gonna flat out say this is garbage.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, this is complete and utter horse shit. See what I did there? So yeah, honestly, I think we've hit the nail on the head with this one. I mean, yeah, I am going to be including some recordings of other people's takes on what they think of Kenshiw, because I promised I would put their say in something like in a video on Kenshiw if I were to make them, but yeah, they're going to be at the end of this video. But as of now, this is just the main cast here. This is Realm Wars.
This is Youngblood Fantasy 91.
And Mr. Sir Raven.
And ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you all in the brighter later.
And cue the peanut gallery.
I don't like peanuts, though.
Okay, I used to know this guy a long time ago, but as time went on, I never really got the chance to talk about this person, and never really got a chance to be acquainted with this person. But after the stuff I heard about this particular person... Wow, where do I even begin? The very thing about it is that I've been noticing quite a bit of stupidity among Kenshiw. Now, again, I don't know much about this particular person, so I can only go by from what I've heard. And from what I've heard, this is a guy who just turns out to be absolutely creepy, and is just, above all, just turned into a major idiot. I used to think that he may have been, like, a good person to look up to and see if anything I could look to in case if I needed help with something. But now, I take that back. The very thing about Kenshiw is that when you try to criticize him, he's like every one of those stuck-up, snot-nosed bastards that just say, "Oh, I'm right and you're wrong. You can't say what I need to say. You can't help me. I can do everything by myself." And that turns out to be a bad mistake. And I'm looking at this document here that Kenshiw wrote, that was given to me by a friend of mine, and Jesus Christ, my writing is so much better than this. Aside from the capitalization errors, and the fact that there were so many issues that, after capitalization issues, to the point where he misspells his own name. Something, he's just gone down to the low of a moronic idiot. Again, I can't really say much because I really don't know this person, but all I can say is, Kenshiw, I used to think you may have been a wise person, but now, you're just another one of those idiots. You're just another idiot who'll never learn a goddamn thing. And that's all I have to say.
Kenshiw, Kenshiw, Kenshiw. What can I say about him? Well, not really a whole lot, since I have no personal experience from him, but I can say something about his work. Dear Lord, and I thought that School Days was bad. But this? Okay, 2 things. If you want to make an MLP fanfic, fine. Go right ahead. That's perfectly legal. You want to make something that is hentai, yaoi, or yuri related? Go right ahead. But for the love of God almighty, don't put the two together. You put porn and a kid's show together, you're only going to look more than just a pervert. You're going to look like a creeper. And again, seeing how this comes from the guy who approves of incest, I'm not too surprised. But the least he could do is keep that shit to himself. And the way he went on about his stories as far as producing them was just atrocious. He says that they're more adult, like Hellsing with violence and High School DxD with the sexual references. The truth is, he's not that good at explaining it. Okay, I've been working on multiple stories as opposed to just one, and for each one, I have to determine on how well the plot's going to go, how the characters develop, how the ending will end, how strong the start has to be for the reader or viewer to be interested, and above all, making sure everything fits. That means no plot holes, no fuck-ups in the logic that I put into some of the worlds that the characters are in, and to make sure that the characters stay in character. With Kenshiw, he's more worried about genre than anything else. The genre could be anything, from a happy fantasy adventure to a dark and sinister thriller. But that's not what makes a story stand out. It's the plot, characters, and the progression that makes it stand out. The reason why Hayao Miyazaki is so successful in his work is because of his storytelling, not the genre he chooses. You could have the most liked genre in human history, be it sci-fi, moe, or anything else, but it's not going to go anywhere without a decent story to tell. And Kenshiw? He's not a good storyteller. I click the X button more often than not every time Realm sent me one of his stories. That's a bad sign, Kenshiw. A really bad sign. I'd give you the benefit of the doubt that you'd listen to critique, but from what I've seen of you and how you act around others, I'm not willing to do so. You'll most likely whine and complain that someone did not think that your stories were good, just like you do with every other critic. All I can say is that with that kind of mindset, you have no future as a writer or an artist.
Hello everyone, this is GamerXC0, but you can call me Josh. So, Realm Wars asked if I wanted to give my 2 cents on Kenshiw Immortal Wolf, and gladly I accepted. So what can I honestly say about Kenshiw? Well, a lot of things. Some Romors even talked about already, but I'll name them off. Firstly, we'll talk about his writing skills. Now, I just so happened to read Kenshiw's fanfiction, From the Shadows, his supposed magnum opus, and I only got through the prologue. Spelling errors up the ass, the explanation was bland and boring as shit, and I would lie if I said I'm not the biggest fan of sex and gore in My Little Pony. Yes, I am a brony. I feel this way mainly because My Little Pony is a kid's show, usually targeted for young girls. You wouldn't hear any cursing, you wouldn't see a pony kill someone in cold blood, or Luna and Twilight Sparkle having lesbian sex, because, Kenshiw thinks that's the most logical pairing in the history of ever. But I digress. I also happen to roleplay with Kenshiw, or at least used to, as I've recently barred myself from RPing in anything involving him. Now, you thought Kenshiw's spouting exposition was bad. Oh, his character and storytelling skills are even worse. I will admit, though, he got better with time, but regardless, it's really hard to read. Oh, and he misspells shit here, too. Also, just try to go to his fanfiction From the Shadows and just copy and paste some of the stuff into Speakonia. Go ahead, see what happens. Yeah, doesn't it sound like a Sonic Recolor fanfiction? Not only that, but his characters are 9 times out of 10 bland and boring, the only exception being his self-insert. Now, simply put, Kenshiw the character, in almost all of his incarnations, is a whining, god-modded, selfish, stubborn, and unlikable Mary Sue bitch. First of all, where we all usually start our characters off at level 1, Kenshiw usually makes a bullshit backstory such as, I've trained all my life, that automatically puts his character up at level 30. Luckily, Kenshiw is not the brightest tool in the shed when it comes to combat, but he will do anything to get his own way. So basically, he cheats. And when he doesn't get what he wants, I'll just save that for later. Second, Kenshiw will usually try to pair up with every damn female in the RP he's in, usually in the form of harems. The main purpose, sex. Yeah, pretty sure Rome Wars has discussed this, so I won't go into further detail, but I will say it is extremely superficial. Now, thirdly, Kenshiw's usual tactic in RPing is to keep his characters' personalities two-dimensional and unappealing, and focus more on powering up his characters even more so they'll be even worse god mod Mary Sues than they already are. Yes, clearly Kenshiw is paving the way for creative writing by scrapping making his characters seem like actual people or develop their personalities, and instead focusing on making them all-powerful and omniscient. Alright, so enough about his RPing. Now on to the actual person. Believe it or not, 2 years ago, when I first met Kenshiw, I tried really hard to see the good in him. I looked up to him as sort of a role model, believe it or not, and things were pretty calm for the most part. Then people told me his opinion about him. Of course, they were mostly negative, but I would remain neutral about it. Flash forward to the summer of 2012, where I was starting to like RPs more than usual. I was improving in a lot of ways over time, and I'm still improving. But then around August, Kenshiw and I would start getting at each other's throats. From that time to present day, our two egos would clash, and I admit, I also acted pretty damn stupid. However, he's done a lot to one-up everyone, going as far as to cheat and put restrictions on everyone as we RP. And of course, he sucks the fun out of everything. Seriously, from his terrible RPing to his constant bitch fits, he just drains the energy out of not just me, but everyone else around him. Speaking of bitch fits, let's continue where I left off earlier. Whenever Kenshiw never gets his way, about 99% of the time, he'll usually quit the RP chat that we are in. Once that is done, he complains to one of the people in the group in private about it, usually that person being Armados13, better known as Keith. Keith, or that other person, will usually try to tell him why he fucked up, where one of two things will happen. He will either remove everyone from his contacts and declare he's leaving the internet, and then comes back a few hours later, or a day later, or he'll calm down. Both usually result in us giving him a free pass back into the RP. And of course, according to him, we don't get that privilege. Once that's over, we then have to appease him so he'll shut the fuck up. But yeah, he's a greedy little bastard who never gets enough. And here we all are, being patient with him. Honestly, it's really infuriating. Next is my favorite part, how he treats others around him. I'm not going to go in detail about how he treats me, because mostly he's just a hypocrite, man-child, egotistical prick who always tries to throw me under the bus to make himself look better by comparison, and also there's not really much to talk about. So we have 4 of my friends. First is Jen Rome 123, also known as Jen. Yeah, Rome Wars has already talked about how she's treated most likely, but I'll put in my 2 cents. Similar to me, she's been thrown under the bus, but with her, it's a lot harsher. Add the fact that Kenshiw treats her like a sex doll, and you've got Kenshiw treating her like a sick fucking pig. Next up is Keith. God damn, Keith, I have no idea how you can be so patient around all of us. He has to put up with our shit almost every fucking day, and he tries so hard to be civil, and he gives Kenshiw a lot of leeway. And Kenshiw decides to abuse this. In one Yu-Gi-Oh! RP, I remember Kenshiw literally dueled Keith 12 times, almost non-stop, because he wanted a damn power-up he wanted right then and there. Of course, Kenshiw rage quit when Keith blew up on him and got his way afterwards. Honestly, I don't know how Keith deals with all this, but he deserves a fucking medal, or even more. Maybe a position as Overlord of the World. Anyways, regardless, next on is one of my closer friends, Rai, or Carol, or Keith's nickname for her, Moon Princess. Inside joke! Out of all of us, Rai knew Kenshiw the longest, apparently going back to their early teenage years. They used to be extremely close, but because Kenshiw holds grudges and Rai did something he didn't like, the thing being a stupid reason to be mad, he held a grudge for a very long time. But then they eventually reconciled, but they still argue a lot. In fact, one of the reasons I loathe Kenshiw so much now is the fact one day he made her extremely depressed and stressed out. Now, this already made me mad. What took the cake was how he treated one of my, who I consider now, best friends on Skype, Leo. Leo is fucking awesome. I see him as a brother, as we share most of the same interests. Kenshiw and Leo are also really good friends. If you call being really good friends, Kenshiw practically mentally and emotionally abusing Leo. I can tell the two have a really good bond, but Kenshiw broke Leo at the same time Rai was, and considering he basically said, "Since you don't agree with me, you don't love me anymore." You know what? No. That is literally one of the douchiest sayings that I've heard someone say to a friend. The worst part is Leo doesn't want Kenshiw out of his life yet. He lets Kenshiw back in and forgives him and all that jazz. If that isn't a friend, I don't know what is. I mean, this shit made me blow up. Not only he broke 2 of my good friends at the time, but he's still like this even today. I'm even lucky I only just tolerate him. So, my final thoughts, which I shall address to Kenshiw himself, because I know he'll be fucking watching this video. Kenshiw, there are very few people that I legitimately loathe. At this point, you've become one of those people. You are despicable in almost every sense of the word. I used to think Chris Chan was scum, but he's just a lol's cow, harmless and pathetic. And you're actually much worse than that, a million times worse. You're worse than the creator of Sonichu, which is one of the worst comic/fan fictions out there. And let me tell you, it was painful to read that. But I didn't even get through the prologue of your story. Where Chris is pathetic and funny, you're pathetic and life-sucking. And if you remove and block me from Skype after seeing this, go right ahead. I will enjoy the comfort of not having to deal with being dragged into your cycle of aneurysm-inducing bullshit. And when everything goes wrong for you, I will be sitting here on my couch and say, I fucking called it.
Oh, and in case none of that went through to your head, you'll definitely listen to this. Considering how desperate you are to get laid through RP and will fuck anything in existence, I hope an asterisk jumps out of the text box and cuts your dick off.